All right, well, we got about 70 people on this, so that's terrific. I am Kevin Weber, and I am the principal at Bedford High School. And today is an orientation for students to what virtual learning for second semester is going to look like. So the good news is we have Miss Taylor who's going to be with us. She's going to kind of go through some things. She's been running our BVA. She's very familiar with supporting students through the product that we're using with Edgenuity. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about it because it is very different than what some people may have encountered. My background with this program, I actually started an online school a couple of years ago at a previous district and used this platform. And we had over 100 students every year who would use that online school. And our BVA has been using this product for several years. And so we're going to make sure your students and you know how this product works, know how you're going to log on every day, how you're going to engage with the teachers through Edgenuity, but also how our Bedford staff are going to be used to support your students. And so I'm going to turn it over here to Miss Taylor. All right, Miss Taylor, can you speak now?
I think, are you good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Taylor. It's so wonderful to have the opportunity to work with each of you for the upcoming semester. I know I'm on Facebook. I see a lot of people's comments. I know there's a lot of people that are thrilled with the plan that's being rolled out. I know there's a lot of other people that have some reservations. My goal through this presentation this evening is to share with you how Bedford will be rolling out their virtual program for the upcoming semester. I don't try to change anyone's opinion, but to devote all of my time to providing the best experience for your child as we move forward in the upcoming semester through online learning. So I am currently in my 25th year of teaching at Bedford Public Schools. For 18 years, I taught in the resource room within the special education department, 1 year at the elementary level, and then 17 at the high school. I have been running the virtual academy for the past 7 years. So the way it looked and what my students would say the BVA looked like in its first year is so different than how it is. So that's the nature of online learning. It's ever changing. Everyone's always looking to make it better and improved. And sometimes those efforts are very successful. Sometimes they're a swing and a miss. So what I can promise you is that I will take into account your considerations, your feedback, and can't promise I'm going to implement everything, but we'll do our very best to do so. While teaching at Bedford, I have coached sideline cheer and competitive cheer for 10 years, but then Mr. Weber started or expressed an interest in starting an esports team. I don't play video games, but I definitely recognize the need for that. So Mitch Lestrange and I are going to be co-coaching together and taking part in this initiative. I am a new resident to Temperance. I lived in Bedford with my parents for my first year, but then after that moved into White House, Ohio. So I just moved into Temperance, so I'm now a Bedford resident, and I live here with my husband, my 4 kids, and then our dog, Marvin. He's a COVID dog. Okay, so what are we expecting as your students enroll in the BVA in virtual learning? And so forgive me if I use one term or the other. Essentially what we're doing is, you know, I know there are some students that are like, I didn't sign up to be a BVA student. What I mean by this is that you are a virtual learner for second semester. For simplicity's sake, I may reference that your child's a BVA student only to the point that they are a virtual learner. So the expectations for students that are enrolled in virtual learning for the upcoming semester, you must maintain two-way communication with your mentor. Those will be assigned to you. They will be reaching out to you. And keep in mind, there's a lot of terminology and jargon that's associated with online learning. Mentor is made to reference your Bedford teacher. Your Bedford teacher that's going to be helping you out. And I'll go on later to explain what their specific responsibilities are. But students must maintain two-way communication, whether they're initiating it or if the mentor initiates a conversation with them, they must reply to that. That's really important to make sure that they're getting the support that's needed. Two-way communication can come in the form of face-to-face interactions, although I'm sure that will be limited because all of you selected virtual learning for a reason. Email, completion of Google Forms, phone conversations, web conferencing, or texting through the Remind app. I'm certain some of you are familiar with that. We do utilize that within the Virtual Academy as our best means. I collect a lot of data from the students and feedback from them, and they have always shared that that is the most effective form of communication. So we will be maintaining that for second semester and encourage parents to do the same. Another responsibility or expectation of students is to log 5 active hours per online course in Edgenuity every single week. It's recommended that in the traditional classroom, you would spend an hour in the classroom. It's no different for virtual learning. Things may take a little bit less time, but sometimes I may take a little bit more time. So if you're going ahead and having your child enroll and log their classes for or work within Edgenuity, they should expect about 5 hours per online course. So you're looking at about 30 hours that they should be devoting to their online courses. Maintain the pacing. This is probably students' biggest regret is I got off track and then I had a hard time getting back on track. Everything has flexible due dates. It may be due tomorrow, but if it takes longer, you can take longer, but eventually you do have to recover that time. Maintain by attending your scheduled meetings. We are going to schedule these through Zoom with your mentor 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You will have to attend a Zoom meeting. If you don't, expect us reaching out to you. Again, it's not to bother you, but it's to make sure that you know that we are making every effort to communicate and to convey how your child's doing. Make sure that you're completing those Google Forms. Pretty much every Wednesday, you're gonna receive a Google form as a student in the Virtual Academy, and you just fill it out. And it's just asking, where are you struggling with so we can further support you? Always submit original work. In the environment we live in, how many times have we said, just Google it, just look it up? And not that that's completely discouraged, but we want to make sure that students are always submitting their original work, because plagiarism, it can be problematic and we don't want students to be penalized because of that. Utilize the help that's available. There is a lot of support that's available to students if they utilize it. I know it's difficult to be a person that's going to take that risk and put themselves out there to be vulnerable, but I think it's really important to utilize the help that's available through Edgenuity teachers, Bedford mentors, and then also counselors, administrators. You're a Bedford High School student, so we want to make sure you're getting the help you need to be successful. Communicate needs to a parent, a guardian, a teacher, a mentor. Just saying, I'm really struggling. I'm going to bend over backwards to help my students, and I know our mentors will do the same. So please make sure you communicate your needs. Participation in any mandated state testing. The state really hasn't rolled out the plan for K-12 in terms of state testing. High school, I believe, is going to be doing some state testing. Therefore, we want to make sure that you know what dates your child will have to be at school to participate in any state testing that's mandated. The other thing I'm going to make a point here. If you notice at the bottom of the screen to the bottom right where it says questions, submit them, please write down that email or write down that website address. That is going to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that I may not answer this evening. We won't be answering questions live just because I don't want to take too much of your time. So what will happen is if you submit your questions using that Google form, I will go ahead and put them all on a Google Doc and make that available for anyone to view at their leisure. So you may not even realize you have a question, but you'll be able to scroll through all of the questions that are presented. I'll be sure to go ahead and remove any sort of identifying information, but I'll make sure that those are included and we'll answer those to the best of our ability. Okay, so students always want to know, how do I get started? So the first and foremost, some of you have been amazing and been able to complete your application. We know this is an application. Some of you had shared with me, well, I chose virtual learning. I didn't choose the BVA. There is information that we need to gather from the state in order to provide a virtual opportunity for you. So by submitting this application, it kind of checks the boxes and makes sure that the classes that your child is enrolled in are going to count towards their junior high or high school credits. Once they've submitted that application, then I can begin enrolling them in online courses. Students won't be able to begin their courses before February 1st. However, if that application is not submitted until maybe Sunday, I'm not going to be able to enroll them in the courses. So just keep in mind, the sooner your application's filled out, the more likeliness that you'll be able to have your child start on February 1st. So please make that a priority. Once a student's enrolled, almost instantaneously, they receive a welcome email. And I'm sorry, the quality of that screenshot's not great, but that's similar to what it looks like. It includes credentials for them to log into the platform, as well as some helpful links. From there, students will be required to watch an orientation video for the platform of Edgenuity. So I have that linked here. And again, this presentation will be shared. It will be shared as a video and then also the presentation through Google Slides. So you will be able to click on these hyperlinks to see what that looks like. Once they're done with their video, they'll be able to begin their coursework. So it really, one thing that's great about Edgenuity is it really is sequential in terms of helping kids to get from point A to point B. There's a lot of information within the platform, and I'm just going to skim over most of it, only because I want to respect everyone's time. If you need a more detailed orientation or more detailed information of how to navigate, please reach out to me. I'm always available through email. That's the best way to reach me, but please reach out. I'm more than willing to sit down with you. Okay, some things that we've learned as we've gone through online learning, specifically with Edgenuity. Some things that might, some tips that might help you and your child be more successful. First of all of the work that is required by any of the Edgenuity courses that we offer is compatible through the district provided Chromebooks. So sorry, students, do not tell your parents that you need this really high-tech laptop. Doesn't have to happen. You're welcome to use your district provided Chromebook. Everything will work appropriately. If links don't work, students, reach out to your Edgenuity teacher or reach out to their tech department through Edgenuity. It might be a broken link that they need to fix. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen on occasion. Students, you must complete your coursework in sequential order. That's mandated that you complete it in order. You can't bounce around in order to do certain things that you want to do, because it's not the best teaching practices. It's not the best way to go through content. Videos, there will be a lot of videos. These are not live videos. If you want any live interactions, that will have to be scheduled with your Edgenuity teacher to go over content, or those live Zooms that you have provided with your mentor teachers as a check-in. Videos, the first time you watch them, cannot be fast forwarded. You have to watch them all the way through. Once you've watched them at least once, you can go back to them. You can go back to other content. And if you've watched the video at least once, you can fast forward it. You can go to different parts of it based on what you want to see. Students may be required to upload work into Edgenuity. All work uploaded must be converted to a PDF. That's an acceptable format for Edgenuity. It also protects the work that you did. So they don't want it to be a Google Doc, because by doing so, then someone potentially could go ahead and edit it if you don't have the right sharing rights. So everything needs to be a PDF. Doc Hub, if there's something that's given to you to do through Edgenuity and it's a PDF and it's maybe a sheet that you need to fill out or a worksheet or a table, the best way you could do that is either recreate it in Sheets, or even easier is to utilize the app through Google Doc Hub, where you can enter the information in without compromising the integrity of the PDF. All quizzes have 2 attempts. To reach a 60% threshold for passing, however, tests and exams only have 1 attempt each. Tests may be given an opportunity, you may be given for a retake, but you would need to get permission from your Edgenuity teacher, not from your mentor, okay? We don't have the ability as a mentor to go in and modify or interact with the content. Because we're utilizing the Edgenuity teachers, they are the ones that have to modify any part of the course or grant extra attempts. Exams, regardless, you get 1 attempt. Tell an adult if you're struggling with virtual learning so help can be provided. If you students, if you tell your parents, please reach out to us. Sometimes students aren't comfortable coming to me or their mentor that they just met, and that's okay. We need to get them there and we'll work with them through that, but not everyone's comfortable with this. At the end of the day, we want to make sure they're getting the help they need. Solve math problems using paper pencil. I know it seems like you're on your computer. You can use the calculator that's on your computer. I really encourage you students to write down the work. More students have success when they're writing it out than those that just try to do it in their head or just do it on their calculator. Actively listen to the videos and take detailed notes. Every note that you take will be available to use on all assessments, meaning your quizzes, your tests, and your exams. So build yourself a resource guide. You are human, you're not going to retain absolutely everything, but if you have it written down, we'll allow you to use it when it comes time to take your final exam. Guided notes. This is one of the best things about Edgenuity, one of my favorites. Mr. Weber, could you click on the hyperlink, please? So what I did is I created a doc that can share with you which courses offer guided notes and what guided notes are. And you can kind of see, I don't think I have an example here, but there's some information where you can access them. And this gives you directions on how you can access them within the course. So each of these courses have a PDF of an Edgenuity teacher that went through each of the lectures or the videos and took notes and made them with open-ended questions or words that are missing. Basically, it's closed notes that students can access and they can print them out, or they can use that Doc Hub because it's a PDF, and they can fill those out as they're going through a lecture. A lot of students struggle with what's important. I have a hard time knowing what's relevant, what's going to be on the test. If you have these guided notes, you're going to be much more prepared than if you don't have anything at all. So this is something that you'll have access to and directions on how to access those guided notes. Printing them out, a lot of students will do that if you have access to a printer, and then they can go ahead and just have them in front of them and write the information on them. So I also included some benefits of those guided notes for your reference. Okay, assessments. Okay, online course assessments include any prescriptive tests, quizzes, tests, or exams. Quizzes and tests, and this is something new if there's any returning BVA students, and you're going to cheer for this. Quizzes and tests can be taken in any environment and do not need to be supervised unless I notify you otherwise. So please make sure you're always doing your own work, like I said previously. And as long as you're doing what you need to be doing, it's unlikely that those would need to be supervised. For the high school students only, so this does not apply to grades 6 through 8. Prescriptive tests are like a pre-test or a pre-exam in a course for credit recovery courses. Those must be proctored by Bedford staff. In fact, I most likely will be supervising those. This applies again to only classes that are going to potentially gain high school credit towards graduation. The way you can tell if it's going to be a credit recovery class is it will have a CR in the name of it, okay? Capital CR. Once I know all of the enrollments for students, I will reach out to those students who are taking a credit recovery course and explain to them how they sign up to have that proctored. A prescriptive test must be done first, because once that prescriptive test is done, it might modify the course based on what you've shown you know, because these are classes that have been taken that students have been unsuccessful in attaining credit for. Exams at the high school level, we don't have the game plan for exams yet. I have it in my mind, but with COVID and the pandemic, that could change. So I don't want to roll out the policy right now. So those instructions will be forthcoming. And then again, I did indicate that if Michigan mandates state testing, virtual students may be required to participate. And I included the dates for each of the grade levels for your reference.
Quick, Beth, I'll chime in on that. Parents know. Our hope is that the state has asked for a waiver from the federal government with the change in administration in Washington. It was previously denied. However, either way, we'll probably be offering these tests to our students, even though it's not mandatory, because a lot of our students want to take the SAT and the PSAT, and that's what these are. And so there'll be more information coming out with these from me once it has been solidified.
Okay, so we all know that learning's difficult, especially in an online environment. It can be very challenging. So I wanted to share with you all the different ways that we are going to be supporting your student. So if you are a student and you're going through your content and you're struggling, these are some different ways that you can go ahead and get some extra support. I also provided who's responsible for what, because I know I received so many questions that needed to be answered by an Edgenuity teacher. And so I just want to try to streamline that a little bit better this semester and communicate who do I go to for what. So each of the bullets, it says from your Edgenuity teacher, what are his or her responsibilities? You can go ahead and see that along with the timeline for feedback, one-on-one support. Essentially, in a nutshell, anything to do with the content within a course is to be handled through an Edgenuity teacher. They grade content. So if there is a discrepancy in terms of you feel like the grade you received wasn't warranted for a specific assignment, you would reach out to the Edgenuity teacher. I encourage students to utilize all methods to contact their Edgenuity teacher. And all of that's provided at the beginning of their course. They'll be able to see that. So once they do that, use phone, call text, be an advocate for yourself, make note of what works best and utilize that method most frequently. Students, you're going to get a quicker response to the help you need if you're specific with your request. Don't just say, I'm stuck, I don't get it, because that's very difficult to problem solve. It means exchanging emails. It may be difficult through a text message. So be very specific And I give you an example for an Algebra 2 course. Okay, so that is your Edgenuity teacher. Concept coaches. So these are Edgenuity people that will provide support in a pinch. So it's only offered for certain courses. So it's core classes and Spanish 1 and 2. I didn't get to pick the courses. That's just what Edgenuity rolled out. So by doing so, what that means is you're in the middle of solving a problem. Maybe you're solving multi-step equations and you're not getting the answer and you're really stuck. What you can do is within the platform, you can go ahead and click on, there's a hyperlink on the platform that you can click on that and get help from an Edgenuity concept coach. You can see when they're available, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's huge. That's a huge resource that I feel like not enough students take advantage of. So please do so, okay? There's also a phone number you can call if you prefer to do that versus a chat. A lot of opportunities to get some help with the content. So they're going to be your two people or your two ways to get some help with content in probably your most effective ways. Then we have the Bedford Mentor. Again, their responsibilities are to help support, kind of work as a liaison between students and the Edgenuity teacher, making sure that students' attendance is counted accurately. And you can see I've listed all of the mentors that we presently have through Bedford. We haven't assigned all of the students yet, so that will be coming. I will include all of the Zoom information once I have that and when teachers will be available for that. So as you're looking at this, students, if you have one of these mentors, so if you have Mrs. McMahon, you can expect on Tuesdays and Thursdays that your Zooms are going to be from 10 to either 10:20, or maybe they're going to be 10:25 to 10:45. So she'll take her whole group that she's working with and split them into smaller groups. So just pay attention to that, but kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So Tuesdays and Thursdays will be those Zoom meetings where they're kind of checking in. They're looking at your progress. They're looking at your grades. They're giving you ideas of ways that you can go ahead and reach out to your Edgenuity teacher to improve your grade. If you're struggling to get all of your work done, coming up with a schedule, anything that's needed to try to help you out. Sometimes they might help with content, but please don't expect that solely from the mentor teachers. That needs to come from your Edgenuity teachers. Technology problems. Please reach out to Edgenuity first. If there's a problem with some part of a course not running properly, please reach out to Edgenuity. Once you reach out to Edgenuity, if they're unable to support you, then reach out to the tech department within Bedford. And I've included also their hours and their contact information. If it's a problem with your Chromebook, like it won't turn on or it won't hold a charge, that's specific to Bedford. So do your best to kind of navigate that. If you're not sure, reach out to me and I can help you decide who you're going to reach out to. Student responsibilities, make sure that you're paying attention to that. Understand what's expected of you. Demonstrate time management. And you know what? You might not be very good at that, but make sure that if you're not, you take those suggestions that are offered by your mentors and you implement those, so that's a skill that you improve on. Maintain your pacing. That's the biggest regret students say is I didn't stay on track. So stay on track if you can. But if you don't, that's okay. Don't hide behind it. Just say, I need help getting back on track. Take good notes, communicate with your teacher, your concept coach or mentor, and schedule one-on-one meetings with your teacher from Edgenuity. They can provide it virtually for you. You've done that first semester with your current teachers, and implement those strategies. Okay, so here's some important links for you. If you can go back, Mr. Weber, one more. Thank you. So this is something that I started, a parent requested it, so I've been doing it ever since, and it's kind of a work in progress. So these are some important resources that you need to be aware of. So first and foremost, the Edgenuity login page, I suggest bookmarking it. This is where students will go ahead to get logged in, and you can see that orientation videos even on that page as well. Next one, there's some videos for you, but then next is the Remind app. So by going into the Remind app, I will be a Vulture student, so just go ahead and sign up for it. There's 3 different ways you can do it. You can do it on a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, you just get it as a text. Or the last way is you can get it through email. Again, students, text me at 2 a.m. or whenever it's convenient. Just send me the text and I will address it. I'm sleeping at 2 a.m., but I will address it when I wake up. Parents, if you could sign up for that too, it's really helpful. And I know a lot of the parents appreciate being able to text. It makes it easier to communicate. Mr. Weber, could you go back to the links?
Yep, I was just giving them time to sign up if they wanted to.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to give this to them later. That's fine. Okay, and then you can see that the student expectations that were shared, you'll have access to those later on. Zoom meeting rules. So students, take a look at that. That's going to tell you when you Zoom with your mentor, what's going to be expected of you. For students specifically, I have the user manual as a student. I have accessing the guided notes. Because you're probably not going to have access to this presentation forever, I included accessing help as well. The accessing course report. Course report, Mr. Weber, will you click on that link real quick? The course report in Edgenuity is basically a snapshot of everything that a course includes. So it includes every single item that a student must do to complete a course with due dates and expected time it would take to complete it. It's incredibly powerful. If you have the ability to print that out and have that from day one, it's a great checklist to go ahead and cross off as you finish things. So when you're going through it, you would be able to do that. You can go back to the implement. You can see where those are. That gives you directions on how to locate those within the course. The next item, let's see, I lost my face. Student honor code. Yep. As I was talking about, submitting original work, please take a look at this. Plagiarism is something that can have serious consequences as students get older. So please take a look at this and make sure you're submitting your own work. Obviously, most students don't intend to plagiarize. So we want to work with you, but take a look at that and make sure if you have questions, if you're asking for help and you're unsure of something, this is a really good way to take a look at what is plagiarism, but still it's not clear. Ask your teacher. They can help you rework things to make sure it's all put in your own words. Okay? So make sure you look at that. And if you're unsure, just ask. We can help you with that. All right, for parents specifically, we have the, again, a quick start guide if you're going to have access to your students' read-only course. This is another one of my favorite things about Edgenuity. So they have electronic progress reports that are available for parents to receive via email. You can choose to receive them every single day. You can receive them weekly or monthly, or not at all if it's up to you. So this right here is essentially just giving you some feedback on what the progress report means, all the different grades that are included in a progress report, what's the difference between an actual grade, an overall grade, a relative grade. It's confusing. I had to write it down. So if you can print this out to reference, it will help you to interpret what that progress report that you receive in your email looks like and what everything means. But if you still don't understand it, again, reach out to me. I can help you out with it. So that is understanding it. The next one, if you click on that one, This is something I'll be sharing as you get started, is how frequent would you like those progress reports? I have to set that up in Edgenuity. So I'm just asking you some information that I need to include to ensure you get your progress reports. And then there I also have the remind information, as well as what method of communication do you prefer? Okay. And then finally, just Edgenuity help. If I'm sure some of you have already really scoured Edgenuity's website, you could get lost on their website for a year. There's so much, it's so robust with so much information that sometimes it's almost overwhelming. So take a look at it. I tried to give you the information that would be pertinent to you, but there's a lot more information. If you ever find other information that you find value of, please share it with me because someone else might find value in it as well. Okay, grades. This is a big one. We have been preaching in Bedford to go to Schoology for grades. And we would love for you to be able to go to Schoology. Unfortunately, a lot of these private companies, not just Edgenuity, I have yet to find one that integrates and is compatible with different learning management systems such as Schoology. So with that being said, if you want to look at how your child is doing on any of his classes or her classes, you will have to go to Edgenuity. Grades from Edgenuity are not transferred to Schoology or Hack until the semester is over. So just keep in mind, they won't be on Schoology, they'll go directly into Hack. I know it was brought to my attention that some students didn't have access to transcripts. We're trying to figure out and problem solve at the central office as to why you're not getting that access. So that will come. But I just want to let you know that you will not be able to access any grades through Schoology. It all needs to go through Edgenuity. Like I told you about the progress reports, you can also have a read-only view of your students' Edgenuity courses, and you would indicate that on the Google form. Again, coursework's graded by Edgenuity teachers. So please don't reach out to your mentor and say, I shouldn't have gotten a C on this. You have to go to your Edgenuity teacher. For high school credit-bearing classes, each online class is worth a half a credit and approved for high school graduation. Semester grades are calculated as such. Your coursework, so all of the course without the exam, is 80% of your semester grade. Your exam is 20%, and those together equal your semester grade. We do not do quarter grades because that would end up hurting more kids than it helps, because if your child gets off pace, it's not an accurate reflection because we have those flexible due dates. Okay, so any students that are taking classes through Edgenuity, we do not have quarter grades and they will not be in Schoology. Extracurricular activities. Your child, first and foremost, is a Bedford Public Schools student. So they are eligible as long as they fulfill all of the requirements and eligibility for any other student. They are eligible to participate in any extracurricular activities after school. Okay, what's next in closing? If you've not done so already, complete the application. So those were sent out for high school students over the weekend. For junior high students, those were sent out on Monday. If you haven't received that in your email, please feel free to reach out to your counselor if you're a high school student, or Mrs. Johnson if you are from the junior high. But you can also go ahead and write down that short URL, and that will get you to the application also, and we'll get it to the people that need to have it. Once you've filled out that application, then I can begin enrolling your student. So please understand, if the application isn't filled out until the Friday before the semester begins, I don't know that they will be enrolled by Monday. So please make that a priority if you haven't done so already. If you still have some questions, submit them by filling out the Google form. And Mr. Weber, if you can click on that real quick, you can see it's again just a Google form with the information. If you have questions, feel free to go ahead and complete that. You can fill it out maybe tomorrow. You've slept on everything I've said and you're like, oh, I do have a question. You'll be able to go ahead and access that. And then I'll make that available on the Bedford Public Schools website. Emails will be sent to students and parents and guardians with instructions to join Remind, and that's in that Google form. And then how to request the electronic progress reports in your communication preference. In closing, I just want to say I am looking forward to a really, really great second semester. I know, many of you have a lot of concerns and we're kind of in territory that it may be unfamiliar to many of you. And I really appreciate you and trusting us and having faith in us to do our very best. Again, my goal is to provide the best experience I can for your child. I will do everything in my power to make sure that he or she has a positive learning experience. Will we be perfect? Absolutely not. But I will promise you that if you do reach out to me and give me the opportunity to help you with the struggles, I'll do my very best. My doors are always open, and I'm sure with this time people don't want to come to my classroom, but you will have access to my email. Feel free to reach out to me and share with me any concerns that you have. And I would really appreciate any celebrations that you're experiencing with your child as well. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, everybody.